Karen, tell us, how has it been going at this year's festival?
Well, the turnout, Vanessa, is amazing as it is. Thomas, hello.
Nice to be there with you.
What is the purpose of this meeting and who will be in attendance?
Talking about how African countries can stop relying to a large extent on...
We are definitely seeing a lot of deeply political films, either directly treating a political issue or with a political subtext.
Don't miss the live special report between Capital Television and Dashwell Television at 9:30 p.m.
In Capital News tonight, two former CCM Secretary Generals and party member Bernard Membe to appear before the Security and National Ethics Committee. Minister of Water Professor Makame Mbarawa orders the arrest of the contractor from Mbeso Construction Company. And in sports, the Women's League proceeds tomorrow with the Dar es Salaam Derby between Simba Queens and Yanga Princess. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. The Central Committee of Chama cha Mapinduzi has agreed that Abdul Rahman Kinana, Yusuf Makamba and Bernard Membe be summoned before the Security and National Ethics Committee in order to respond to allegations against them as stipulated by the party's constitution and ethics and leadership regulations. The latest developments occurred during the Central Committee meeting in Mwanza, led by Dr. John Magufuli, the chairman of CCM and president of the United Republic of Tanzania. During the meeting, the Central Committee also discussed and agreed to pardon General Makamba, Nape Nnauye and William Ngeleja, who had requested to be forgiven after committing ethics offenses. Addressing the Central Committee members, President Dr. John Magufuli said that being president is a hard work and that he will respect the traditions, regulations and constitution of the party.
What I would like to say to my fellow CCM members is that you've done an excellent job. I've toured various projects in Mwanza and clearly there has been a lot of progress made. The positive changes you see here can also be witnessed in all regions in mainland Tanzania and Zanzibar. This is a reflection of a job well done. I urge NEC, which is a supreme body that guides the government. You see the projects that you now see is as a result of implementation from members present here. It is the directive you give to the government which succeeded.
The Minister of Water, Professor Makame Mbarawa, has directed the police force to arrest and detain Artistes Kanyomo, the contractor from Mbeso Construction Company from Dar es Salaam, following allegations of embezzlement of 3 billion shillings allocated for a water project at Mwakaleli Basin in Rungwe District, Mbeya region.
Obviously, huu ni wizi. Kabanda yenyewe ndio hichi milioni 100. Ni aibu. Ameshalipwa bilioni 3 mkandarasi na hakuna nini kilichofanyika. Hatuwezi kwenda namna hii.
Kweli mradi wa maji umekaa zaidi ya miaka.
It has been over 11 years now. This is a joke. They did a shoddy job. People are fed up and have decided to find water on their own.
Nilipokuja wilaya ya Rungwe mwaka 2016.
In 2016, these two projects had issues. We agreed to solve one problem at a time, and this project will be sorted out too.
Hawa walikuwa ni wizi na wahuni. Na nimepitia BOQ yao sasa hivi.
These people are simply fraudsters. They will now be arrested so investigation could take place. 3 billion has already been paid, engineer, yet nothing has been done. We cannot carry on like this.
Ndani uchunguzi unafanyika. La pili, tuone thamani ya mradi huu. La tatu, tutaka kumfutia mkandarasi. Hii kazi tuichukue wenyewe, tuifanye sisi wenyewe.
2 days after ITV reported that 4 children from the same family at Machotwe village in Serengeti district, Mara region, died after eating a stew porridge made from premature cassava claimed to be poisonous due to hunger. The government in Serengeti district has sent food aid. The district commissioner of Serengeti, accompanied by some officials from NMB Bank and a team of doctors, visited the family of the deceased children, whereby he said the government will help take care of the remaining children who are in poor health condition due to hunger.
Hivi vyakula hapa vitawatosha hii familia na hata zaidi ya miezi miwili.
This food is enough for more than 2 months. There is maize, flour, tea leaves, beans and other items. You must preserve and use it well.
Shida kubwa alionayo yule mtoto.
The child suffers from malnutrition, which is caused by poor diet. However, it is treatable and has been referred to a health center for further treatment.
Kuona kama ana shida nyingine na kwa sasa amepelekwa kwenye kituo cha afya cha Machotwe kwa ajili ya kupewa matibabu zaidi.
About 2,000 cashewnut farmers from Twara region are yet to be paid more than 13 billion shillings, being payment for crops sold since 2017-2018 production year, a situation that has led the government to start a monitoring operation on every region that grows cashewnut so as to know how much has been claimed by farmers. This was said by the Minister of Agriculture, Japhet Hasunga, when addressing leaders of Tandahimba, Newala Cooperative Union and Masasi Mtwara Cooperative Union.
A lot of farmers have not yet been paid. From the list here, at least 13 billion is still owed to farmers. Therefore, we must look into this and address it accordingly. So far in Mtwara, there has been over 110,000 tons, while the main farmers union that serves Tandahimba and Mtwara has sold 49,102.99 tons.
More than 17,000 flood victims at Mlalo Division, Lushoto District, Tanga region have called on the government to provide food support to villages which have been cut off for more than 2 weeks due to destruction of roads and bridges caused by floods. Residents from Mwangoi village have urged the government to use the disaster fund to assist families which have no shelter after their homes were destroyed by floods.
There is not enough food. Crops have been washed away. There is nothing left. Our houses have also collapsed. We don't know what is to be. The area is now like an island. It has been cut off. There is no communication. You cannot bring in goods, because now you have to pay someone for transportation, which just adds up the cost. Traders should supply food to affected areas and sell it at an affordable price.
With 18 days remaining until the biometric SIM card registration exercise ends, some residents in Dar es Salaam have called for the National Identification Card registration exercise to be conducted at ward level instead of district, as many Tanzanians have yet to get the IDs required for the SIM card registration. Tanzania Communication Regulatory Authority (TCRA) has said everyone is required to register their SIM cards for security purposes.
The exercise is going on well, but things are moving rather slowly because a lot of Tanzanians don't have national ID cards. I urge the government to bring back registration at grassroots levels so people can register easily. I urge those with national ID cards to register their mobile phone numbers early. There is no excuse not to. Those with no national ID cards must register so they can biometrically register their mobile phone numbers.
Commissioner Generals from Tanzania and Zambia revenue authorities have agreed to address trade barriers which have contributed to congestion of lorries along the Tanzam Road and affected cargo clearance along the Tunduma border.
So we have come all the way. My brother from Lusaka, I myself came from Dar es Salaam to have a common understanding on the issues that are going on here at our border. So that we can resolve any pending matters that they are following the meetings of our heads of state. That was October 5th this year. Okay, so we have discussed a number of issues, and in total, what we have agreed is actually to make sure that we decongest the trucks that are coming from Dar es Salaam all the way to Tunduma, and then Zambia can receive the same so that they facilitate the movement of those goods in a very efficient way.
So one immediate thing that we are going to agree on today is that all the trucks that have discharged their transits must be allowed to cross to Zambia. And the Commissioner Customs on the Zambian side will come up with mechanisms to secure those goods and ensure that they are cleared while on the Zambian soil. Because that is how the OSP is supposed to work.
Exactly.
You stop once, but now we are making them stopping twice. They stop on the Zambian side, on the Tanzanian side for days, and then again they cross and stop on the Zambian side. So it defeats the whole purpose of the efficiencies that you are supposed to get from OSPP.
The road is very narrow on the Zambian side, and the presidents assured us when they came on 5th October that they would do the roads.
Chief Justice of Tanzania, Professor Ibrahim Juma, has called on new advocates to focus on using technology to address changes on legal issues and to facilitate their services to Tanzanians. The Chief Justice made the statement in Dar es Salaam when confirming 558 new advocates.
Lawyers of the 21st century are reminded that your work will be dominated by TEHAMA. The question here is, will new lawyers be able to compete with established lawyers who are already accepted? The answer is yes, because lawyers who will do well are those who will use TEHAMA effectively and increase efficiency and transparency, and any lawyer who will not embrace TEHAMA will be left behind in law practice. No one can argue that the use of TEHAMA has a big contribution in ensuring that justice is served on time, but also it will bring closer judicial services to the people.
It is a fact that most advocates are centered in urban areas. We have witnessed a very limited presence of advocates providing legal services in rural areas. My lady brothers and sisters, the unbalanced proportion of advocates in urban and rural areas forces our fellow Tanzanians to travel a long distance to urban areas to find services of private advocates. In that backdrop, let me take this opportunity to urge you to consider establishing offices in rural areas where our fellow Tanzanians reside and are really in need of our services.
And that is the end of National News. International News follows next. And in international news, 7 people have died in a tragic road accident that involved 2 buses from Modern Coast Company. The accident occurred at Kiongwani area between Salama and Sultan Hamoud on the main Nairobi-Mombasa highway in Kenya.
Watu wengi walikuwa wameumia, wengi wameumia na kuna wenye pia wameaga, but siwezi sema namba, like sijui namba, but naambiwa wenye walikuwa hapa wamekaa kwa VIP seats, wengi wameaga, like 5 of them.
The government of Burundi has led the burial of 26 people who passed away in Mugina suburb, Cibitoke region north of the country after a landslide caused by heavy rainfall on the night of December 4th. We are calling on the government to find for us safer areas to live so as we could move from this hazardous area, and should provide us with shelter and food since many of us have lost everything. The government will do all it can so as to help these families. We have heard your shelter challenges. Thus, with all leaders here, we will find means of taking you to a safer land. In the meantime, we are calling on residents to help us in building houses of these people, while the government will provide iron sheets. The Constitutional Court in Uganda has dismissed opposition leader Kizza Besigye's unlawfully assembly case petition and instead instructed him to file a complaint in court if he wants to get justice in the country. That is the end of international news. Business news follows next after this short break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news. Big entrepreneurs in Kagera region using Bukoba and Kemondo ports to transport various goods in and out of the country have urged the government through Tanzania Ports Authority to reduce customs costs when loading and offloading goods.
Tunaamini bandari hii.
It was difficult to cater for Bukoba clients due to geographical issues, but right now if a client is willing to pay for carriage, then there is no problem. All we need is assurance from TRC to assure us on availability of sufficient carriage in transporting cargo.
Mwenye uwezo wa kununua behewa na anunue.
Whoever thinks that they have the ability to purchase carriages should not hesitate. We will only charge railway users. I will have a meeting with the business community in Dar es Salaam, and everybody is invited. We have more than 1,000 old carriages where we are ready to give people who are willing to revive them so as to speed up the project. The carriage will remain under government's ownership so that as businessmen they will have assurance of transporting their cargo without incurring any charges apart from railway users. However, I will give a final statement tomorrow after speaking with the Secretary General. Investors in the hunting sector who have stopped their activities at Selous Game Reserve after it was changed into a national park are expected to continue with their activities after the government completed the exercise to find them alternative areas. If one had first grade block at the Nyerere National Park and it is in Rungo, then we will take you there without any problems. We do believe that if all the blocks will be used efficiently, their values will definitely increase. This sector is quite expensive. We are glad that our neighbors in Botswana did close down the business. That is why we were able to do business. Most people think that hunting activities are dangerous to animals and rampant to conservation, while honestly, without these activities, the conservation activities will be difficult to handle. And the Minister of Industry and Trade, Innocent Bashungwa, has directed financial institutions in the country to give out loans to contractors implementing public projects in various areas so as to achieve the government's goal of becoming a middle-income economy and enable Tanzanians to grow economically. The government's target is for a large percentage of Tanzanians to reach the middle-income earners so as to generate middle class, which will support trade and industries. This class will obviously be loyal customers to CRDB Bank since they will be obliged into bigger money circulation. We have about 3.4 trillion shillings allocated for loans that will support the nation's economy, since most of the money will be invested in different sectors. There are several creative services that we have come up with to influence people to take the loan opportunities. And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows next after this break.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him and he's going to be dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him and he's going to be dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Joaquinho, he did lose to Lent.
Welcome back, and in sports news. The Women's League proceeds tomorrow with the Dar es Salaam derby between Simba Queens and the Yanga Princess at the Karume Stadium in Dar es Salaam.
Swala la Simba na Yanga, hata ukiweka kuku wawili ukasema huyu Yanga, huyu Simba, ni lazima washabiki watatokea.
When it comes to Simba and Yanga, even if you put 2 chickens and say one is Simba and the other one is Yanga, fans will come from both sides and each side will cheer for their participant, because Simba and Yanga are big clubs. They are also the teams that touch most Tanzanians as well as other people's hearts.
KMC Football Club will face Mbuni FC in the TFF Cup. The club's doctor says players' health is a priority.
Mimi niseme tu kwamba kwa KMC sababu timu kwanza nimekuwa nayo muda mrefu tokea daraja la kwanza.
I've been with KMC for a very long time, since it was in Division 1. Since then, I haven't had any challenges, because all the leaders I've worked with are inviting and we cooperate well. Even when I have too much work to do with regard to the injured players and I cannot help all of the players, we do referrals to bigger hospitals for further interventions.
Yagan club has signed a new contract that will keep him at the Liverpool until 2024.
The Red Spurs has ended speculation he may exit the club when his current deal expires in 2022 and says he couldn't contemplate leaving. Club's assistants Peter Koritz and Pep Linders have also agreed new contracts. The news comes with Liverpool 8 points clear at the top of the Premier League and having secured their place in the last 16 of the Champions League. Next week they will seek to become Club World Cup champions for the first time, while they also have Carabao Cup and FA Cup ties to look forward to in the next month.
And Liverpool forward Sadio Mane has been named as the winner of the Premier League Player of the Month award for November. Here more details.
The 27-year-old was in a terrific form for the Reds, scoring 3 goals and providing an assist to help Jurgen Klopp's men win all 3 league games last month. The Senegal international's scintillating performances helped the Anfield outfit further extend their lead on the Premier League table. Mane beat off competition from Leicester City's duo of Kaglar Soyuncu and Jamie Vardy, as well as Tottenham Hotspur's Dele Alli and Son Heung-min, Wolverhampton Wanderers' Raul Jimenez and Sheffield United's Lys Mousset to claim the award.
Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola has denied having a break clause in his contract which gives him the option to leave the club at the end of the season.
The former Barcelona and Bayern Munich manager penned fresh terms with City last year, extending his stay at the Etihad Stadium through to 2021. However, it has been reported that the agreement included a clause that allows Guardiola to cut short his stay by a year, as long as certain conditions are met. The Spanish tactician's future has been the subject of much speculation recently, with the reigning Premier League champions struggling to keep pace with Liverpool at the top of the table. City successfully defended their top-flight crown and went on to complete a domestic treble last season, but they are now 14 points adrift of the Reds after 16 matches of the 2019-2020 campaign.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. Thank you for watching and good night.
You can watch Ofa kabambe. Pata ofa kabambe katika msimu mwingine wa sikukuu ya mwisho wa mwaka kutoka vituo vyako bora vya ITV, Radio 1, Capital Television na Capital Radio. Ni kuanzia tarehe mosi Desemba 2019 mpaka tarehe 30 Januari 2020. Ofa hii kabambe ni ya aina yake. Kwa upande wa TV ni graphic adverts, bila kusahau matangazo mubashara ya dakika 15. Na upande wa radio ni matangazo madogo madogo, yani casual adverts na brand talk. Unasubiri nini? Jiongezee kipato chako wewe kwa kutangaza nasi. Wasiliana na idara ya masoko kwa simu namba 0767777147 au 0658777144 au 0 684-302014 au 2227759114 au 6. Kuza biashara.
You can watch Capital News live on our social media accounts.